Romantasy, and welcome to my channel. And this is going to be my May wrap-up. So I was thinking about it, I was like, oh, I kind of already explained all of this in my ratings, like in my reading vlogs, but then I was like, but who wants to have to sit through 4 videos of varying lengths to get my thoughts on the books that I read in May? So we're gonna be kind of putting them all together in this one. So first one was an ebook. I do not have the physical copy, and that is Crystal Crown by Elise Kova, which is the last book in the Air Awakens series. I don't want to go too much into this book, but it's about a girl that works in a library, finds out that she actually has magic, and kind of has to go from there. You just follow her and see how things play out throughout the 5 books. I really enjoyed it. I gave every book, I think, 5 stars. It is a 5-star series for me, so I highly recommend picking up Air Awakens. It is a romantasy as well, so look into that. The next one was A Promise of Paradise by Kate Golden. It's the second book, I believe, I read in May. What did I give this? I give this a 4-star. I was a little confused in the beginning because it has been a few months since I have read the first one, and not only that, but I've read a good few books in between, and 1 or 2 of them were a little similar, I want to say, to what book 1 was, and so I was getting my book ones a little confused when I first started this book, but once I finally figured it out, it was actually really good. Outside of the confusion in the beginning, there was also I thought that something took a little too long within the book that was going on, and if you read it, if you have read it, you probably know what I'm talking about. You might not have been bothered by it, but I was a little bothered by it because it took, like, I want to say about 60% of the book before it was finally resolved. Like, I don't know if it was like resolved completely or not. It might come back up, but it was finally, for the most part, I want to say, resolved, and I just think that it took too long to have that resolved. So that's kind of why I gave it a 4-star instead of a 5-star. But still, highly enjoyed book 1, which is A Dawn of Onyx, and yeah, like this one too. The next one is also one that I do not own. It was an ebook. It was a Libby book, and that is The Haunting of Belkwood by Gwendolyn Christie. So this guy. So for this one, I gave it 3 stars. It wasn't really what I was expecting it to be, which, you know, that's kind of, it's just kind of what happens to me a lot, is that I'll go into something thinking one thing, and then I come out and I'm like, that's not what I wanted, but okay. It was still entertaining, I guess, but it wasn't what I wanted. This is about a group of friends. I think there's like 3 girls that managed to escape their little neighborhood before it became a haunted neighborhood, and you know, it's not like a haunted house, it's a haunted neighborhood, and they're the only 3 that somehow got out of this neighborhood before this happened, and everybody that was in the neighborhood at the time had been alive, but you'll have to read to find out what is going on there. But they are the only 3 people that can go back into into this neighborhood. There have been like scientists that have been trying to get in and do the readings from the outside and whatnot, but they can't get in, and everything is very blurry from the outside, and I don't even think objects can really go in for long. Only the 3 girls that came from that neighborhood originally can actually get in there. But it just wasn't what I was thinking it was going to be, but it was still interesting. So 3 stars for that one. Definitely like mystery type book situation, but yeah. Next book was Ghost Station by S.A. Barnes, this guy here. So for him, I gave him 3.5 stars, and I found the main female character in this book a little irritating to me. Especially like it was mostly in the beginning, but she still irritated me. And there was a couple of other things that kind of irritated me as well. But I think this is supposed to be like a sci-fi horror, and to me, I didn't really see much of that horror aspect until maybe the last 20% of the book thereabout. It was definitely kind of more of a thriller feel for me in the first like 80% of the book, which was kind of not what I was hoping it was going to be, but that's just kind of the way it was. So 3.5. The ending was interesting. I liked the flashbacks a little bit more than the majority of the book, which, you know, might be a little sad, but I did enjoy the flashbacks a little bit more than the main storyline. But 3.5 stars, still a pretty good read. Next one was Icebreaker by Hannah Grace. And this one was kind of a letdown for me. It is a hockey romance, and the other month I was like kind of on board for the hockey romance. This was not what I was hoping it was going to be. To me, it felt very out of order. Like the middle, most of the middle, kind of more of the ending, like not the ending, but like before the ending type situation. I feel like that should have been the beginning of the book, and then I feel like the beginning of the book should have been more like towards the middle end of the book, and it just felt very out of order. And it didn't seem to have any plot going on in the beginning because, well, it didn't really have a lot of plot. Definitely a lot of smut, which I don't particularly mind. You know, that's not a bad thing. I just did not like the layout of the book. I didn't really like the whole, like, there's not really any plot in the beginning of the book, and then it was all just kind of not for me. I don't know, it just did not work for me, unfortunately, and so I gave it a 2.5, and I think I was being a little generous with that. It probably is closer to a 2. And so, yeah, I'm probably not going to continue reading any of these books from this author at the moment. So, kind of a disappointment. Next book I read was A Fate, Inked in Blood by Daniel L. Jensen. This guy. So, I went from that disappointment of Icebreaker of a 2.5 star to a 5 star, which made me very happy. I highly enjoyed this book. I liked the magic system, the world, the characters, the romance. I loved all of it. So apparently there are some characters in here that have like a drop of blood from the gods, and they're Norse gods. And that means that they are kind of fateless, like they don't have a fate tied to them. And because they don't have fate tied to them like other people do, they can actually change other people's fates by being near them or interacting with them. So it was really interesting, and I cannot wait for the next one to come out, and I cannot wait to read more by this author because I just loved the way that she wrote this book. So this was definitely a 5-star for me, and I hope that you give it a try and also like it as much as I did. Alright, next book is The Martyr by Anthony Ryan. This is the second book to The Pariah by Anthony Ryan, and I gave this 5 stars as well. It took me a little bit to get into it because it's been a while since I've read The Pariah, and of course it is not a romantasy, so that's definitely a shift in the brain. But I did highly enjoy this. First book was about a thief that is betrayed. Like the person or the guy that's kind of in charge of the people that the thief group that he works for is betrayed. And so it's kind of like he survives, and it's him going around and wanting, like, getting into these other situations, and he really just wants revenge, but other things happen and it just doesn't work out the way that he plans it to. But it is a very interesting story, and I really think if you like high fantasy, this would be a very good series to read. I have not read the third book yet, but I look forward to doing so, and I hope that it is a 5-star as well, because so far book 1 and book 2 are 5 stars for me. Next is The Serpent and the Wings of Night by Carissa Broadbent. And I gave this one a 3.5 star. I was a little disappointed in it. I know a lot of the people that I talk to in the Discords that I'm a part of loved this book, but it just didn't work for me. It's like, not to say it was bad, it was a good book. It was just not what I was thinking it was going to be. There were some things that just kind of irritated me about the main female character, and a few things of the storyline that kind of bothered me. But it is about a human girl that gets adopted by the king of the certain type of vampires, because there's like 3 or 4 different types of vampires, and she gets adopted by one. And it's kind of her entering a tournament type situation so that she can get a request or a wish fulfilled at the end if she survives it, by the goddess that kind of reigns over all the vampires. So anybody who like wins this tournament gets a favor or request or wish fulfilled by this goddess. And so she has to survive this tournament because she's got a wish. And so that's kind of the main story. Of course, you know, it's a romantasy, so there is romance involved. To me, it was a little like, okay, we've got nothing going on, to all of a sudden, wait a minute, now we have something going on? I thought there was like no like in between. It was like there and bam, okay, we have a romance. But that's just the way that I saw it. But so many other people have given this 5 stars, so give it a try. I gave it 3.5, so I mean it's still not a bad book, even in my opinion, but you know, give it a try. So the last book that I read was The Tainted Cup by Robert Jackson Bennett. and I gave this a 5-star. And I think I did more of a roundup because I think it was more closer to a 4.5 star, but I just went ahead and rounded it up to a 5-star because, you know, Goodreads doesn't do half stars. But this is kind of a fantasy sci-fi situation, and you've got Din, who is magically altered, and then he works for Anna, who I don't think is magically altered. She might be. I'm not really quite I mean, she might be. She might not be. I didn't really understand that part of the book. I still enjoyed it though, a great deal. But she doesn't really go anywhere, so she sends Din to go and scope out whatever she needs scoping out, and then he comes back and tells her everything that he saw or smelt or what have you, and then she, you know, sends it back out again, and it's a mystery. And I think the mystery part of it is a little Agatha Christie, and I want to say like the dynamics between Din and Anna are kind of more like Holmes and Watson-ish a little bit. It was definitely more set on a mystery side of things with like splashes of fantasy in there to kind of make it the whole fantasy mystery situation, but I think it definitely leans more towards the mystery aspect. And if you like like the movie Pacific Rim, you might want to check this out because, yeah, that's another little interesting thing about this book. So 5 stars is what I rated it on Goodreads. Probably might be closer to about a 4.5, but again, it's still a really good book, and I cannot wait for the next one to come out. So give this one a try too. So some stats for May. I read 9 books in total. All of them were ebook format. It's just easier to read ebook when I'm out and about, and just continue reading ebook when even when I'm at home, because I'm already there. So might as well, right? 2 of them were just fantasy, 1 sci-fi, 1 mystery, 1 romance, and then 4 romantasy. And then page count, 3,938 pages. My average rating was 4.06. Average pages was 438. And I got 4 books in, I think, this month. Like, I want to say 3 of them were pre-order books, but I'm pretty sure pre-order books. But anyway, so that is May wrap up. If you read any interesting books in May, let me know down below, especially if I didn't read them in May. I might be interested in possibly picking them up. So definitely let me know if you read any good ones. If you like, please like, and also please subscribe if you want to. Until next time.